So today's review and my scent of the day is Lipstick Rose from Frederic Malle. So I've worn this one a few times now and feel like I wish to give you a review of my thoughts on this. I've just done a couple of sprays. So here we go. I'm going to spray some on just here. As I say, I've already got a little bit on, but just to give you some live action spraying, because we all love it, don't we? Now, in the initial blast, you can tell that this is a sweet rose fragrance. It is, I would say, it's a gourmand fragrance. It smells like candied rose petals, edible rose petals that have been coated in sugar. And there's a vanilla hit, which is very, very noticeable right from the offset. And I think that vanilla does hang around for the duration of the fragrance, if I recall. So initially it's roses, candied roses, also candied violets. It's a very violety fragrance. Parma violets, if you know those gorgeous sweets, I bloody love them, by Swizzles. If you don't know them, then imagine candied violet petals in the same manner as the candied rose petals. Just a very candy sweet rose violet concoction at the moment. There is a little bit of something else. I would say there's a tiny hint of woods coming through that stops it being mega sweet. But that's what I get from the start. Now I can understand it being called Lipstick Rose. It smells like one of those really nice smelling lipsticks that you can get, or how makeup used to smell. My nan always smelled really lovely, quite similar to this, because she wore a powder on her face, and it was actually the powder that smelled so lovely, and it really was quite similar to this fragrance. So it definitely has that makeup feel, but also to me it's definitely a candy feel to it as well. So more to come. Okay, here's my update on Lipstick Rose from Frederic Malle. I am so sorry that I look so sweaty, but it is completely unavoidable. This weather is ridiculous. This weather is utterly sweltering. It's completely ridiculous. We aren't used to this in the UK. It's so hard. So anyway, just quickly, Lipstick Rose, still going strong. Let me just check my wrist for you. So what happens is, in the opening it is quite sparkly, which I didn't mention, but I resprayed a little bit over here, and it is kind of fizzy, and I think that comes from the grapefruit. There's a note of grapefruit in there. The notes are rose, vanilla, amber, grapefruit, vetiver, I think there's something else, musk and violet. These notes are very simple, and you kind of do just smell what the notes tell you, except the vetiver. I haven't picked out any vetiver as yet, but there could just be a tiny hint of woods in the background. I'm going to look out for it, see if I notice it. So really what you get is it starts off with a kind of bright fizzy violet rose thing, and then it mellows down. The vanilla's there pretty much from the start, and then the vanilla, it has been present all morning. It's definitely a candy, vanilla, sweet, musky rose. It's a very simple fragrance to review. I can't tell you too much more than you would learn by reading the notes on Fragrantica, really. The only other thing I'd say is the musk note is giving it a lovely cotton wool kind of feel. So you can almost think, you're thinking about lipstick, you're thinking about makeup, you can imagine your cotton wool balls and your lipstick and your powder all together on your lovely dressing table. It kind of does conjure up that image. It's a very soft, and I would say it is, most people would suggest that it's feminine, because it is predominantly rose and violet and vanilla. They are your main players all the way through, and there's not a lot of chaps that are used to wearing men's fragrances that would be comfortable with that. But if you are a chap that's comfortable with that, then you should totally wear it. But if you are concerned about whether it would smell feminine, I would say it probably does smell quite feminine. I'm going to leave it there because I'm sweating and it's disgusting, and I'm sorry. I'm going to clean myself up to give you my final thoughts.
So here's my final thoughts on Lipstick Rose. I don't have a lot more to say except that the smell doesn't change very much on my skin. What you get in the beginning and the very first spritz is a little bit fizzy and kind of sparkly and almost aldehydic, but not quite. And then after that dies down, which is fairly quickly, you just get this combination of vanilla, rose and musk and violets really, and you get that all the way through. Any changes on your skin are really barely undetectable, and for me that's not always a great thing. The fragrance smells really lovely, but I would just like a little bit more development to keep me interested. Otherwise I do get a little bit bored about 4 or 5 hours in. In terms of longevity, it's about 6 to 8 hours. It seems to depend on the weather and the circumstances. And projection wise, it definitely projects quite well for the first 2 to 3 hours. So performance wise is fairly good. Now the perfumer is Ralph Schweiger, and the perfume was released in the year 2000. Ralph Schweiger is quite well known in the perfumery world. He has done Eau de Merveille from Hermes. He's done a couple of fragrances for Etat Libre d'Orange. He's also got Adis Divinistus under his belt. He did Iris Nazarena for them, and many others. All the details of course are on Fragrantica if you are interested in having a look. But that's really all I have left to say about this fragrance. Definitely one to check out if you enjoy a gourmand take on a rose. If you love the rose and violet combination, such as Paris by Yves Saint Laurent or Missia from Chanel, then you may well love this one too. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Oh, look who's come to say hello. What's this? What's this?